guys, it's Tessa. So today is Monday the 29th. This is the start of the week for this vlog week because yesterday on Sunday we had a couple friends over and we played Magic the Gathering and our friends just stayed later than anticipated, so I didn't really get much filming done or have really any time to do any filming. But I did want to show you all the things I made this weekend, as well as talk about a sale I made yesterday with our friends and all of that. So to begin with, I made two brontosauruses. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's brontosaur, I don't know, it doesn't matter. First one I made is this pink one. It looks a little bit more red, but it's fine. But I made this pink one first, and then I made this blue one for my husband. They're somehow different sizes, and yet I made them with the exact same yarn and the exact same hook. So I feel like this can't be a tension issue, because I made this one first, and usually when I'm doing a new pattern, my tension's super tight, or it's like all over the place. But this is fairly consistent, same yarn as this one. And I'm just not sure why they're so different. But one thing that my husband did that was really funny is, so you guys know I made this guy last week, and I was like annoyed with it, kind of. But what we did instead is we gave his brontosaurus a little sunflower hat. But yeah, so we made both of those, and this is the free pattern, or free no-sew pattern by Kaylee Crochet. I'm probably gonna make another one, to be honest. I love the brontosaurus, whatever. I really like them. They're awesome. And then I ended up making a stegosaurus from my_universe64. It's another pattern I did from them last week. But I ended up making that as well. I made it green with gray little spikies. I ended up selling that to my friend, one of the friends that happened to be over here yesterday, which was really fun. I'm gonna make another one in a couple different colors because it was super easy, super quick, and honestly I just love it. The next item I made yesterday that I kind of finished this morning is the Loops and Knots Crochet Bat pattern. So it's not perfect, but I think that's one of the pluses of just crocheting in general. It's much larger than I anticipated as well. I used a larger hook than recommended. So I used a 5.5 and I was supposed to use a 4, and the original yarn in the pattern is recommended, or the one they use is the Bernat Baby Velvet, which is technically a size 4. This I think technically qualifies as a size 5. This is the Loops and Threads version of the Chanel Home Slim. But yeah, so it's quite a bit larger. I still think he's really cute. You can't see it very well, but he's also got little feetsies, which is kind of fun. Those three are the ones I still have. Like I said, I'm gonna make another stegosaurus. I found a triceratops pattern. I don't know why I'm going down this dinosaur rabbit hole. I just am. I'm also planning on working on a top pattern that I started a while ago. I think I have figured out a way to do some of the shaping. But yeah, so that's the plan for today / this week. I'm also planning on working on the Cleary's cardigan a little bit more as well. I just haven't started it yet because, of course, we are in the plushie realm of existence currently, where it's all I want to make is plushies. But that's it for today. I'll probably check in again a little bit later. Hey guys, I meant to check in again last night, but I didn't. I was just really tired. So I was able to finish making another stegosaurus. He's not too large. He's like, I can grab him. The only thing I would change about the pattern is that I made 2 of these so far, and this has happened both times, is that always one of the bumps here is off. So this one's the farthest one off. If I did it one more stitch over, I think I could get away with it looking in line. I think the first one I made, the first little bumpy guy was off. I don't have that one with me again, but I think that was the issue. I think I'm gonna look for another stegosaurus pattern, but also I can never get their eyes correct. I don't know if that's just me or if it's like how the pattern describes it. I don't know. I think I'm doing something wrong. I've also decided that the course of this video is gonna be a little bit different than I was originally planning. It's now just going to be a how many plushies can I make in a week, because it's very quickly becoming a problem. Today I started with a So this is a modified version of the Mama Chicken, or Chicken Mama, by Pixie Knots Crochet. So instead of making actually a Mama Chicken, I just didn't do the opening. But yeah, I don't have any of this red fluffy yarn, so I ended up using like an orange color. I think it worked out fairly nice. The only real modification I did besides that is instead of having the ridge done separately and then sewing it on, I just sewed it directly into the top. I kind of looked at the image to figure out like which direction it needed to be in, but essentially the way I did it was the first stitch, that's the half double crochet, half double crochet, all in one stitch. I did that last. So I started with the slip stitch, the half double crochet increase, slip stitch, and so on, all the way until I got to that end point. Then I tried to slip stitch directly into this edge here, because the way it seemed to cross, I just ended up slip stitching into it and then weaving the ends back through. But that's the only two modifications I made on this pattern. I actually really like it. Like, it's a fairly small chicken. I think this is really similar to the Mabel chicken by Oaken something. I'll put it down here or something. Or I'll put it down here for you guys if I can figure it out. But I think it's very simple to the or very similar to the Mabel chicken, if you've seen that at all. I then made what I've told my husband as the best thing I've ever made. That's a little sushi. He's pretty cool. I didn't have a like orangey enough color to do it as like salmon, and I didn't have a pale enough yellow either to do it as like an egg or anything. So yeah, seaweed colors I think pretty spot on, to be fair. Although I really should have done like a darker gray or black, but again, I don't have a lot of colors. I'm really not a fan of this yarn, to be honest, and I think my plan is finish making as many dudes as I can out of this yarn, and then switch over to the Bernat blanket, or I think there's another one that's like Bernat Plush or Bernat Petite or something like that, just because I've been getting so annoyed with all the fuzzies, and specifically like with this green yarn from this brand. This is the Chanel Home Slim from Michaels, but the problem I'm having specifically with this green one is it's constantly having little groupings of the fluff and then a like half-inch line of no fluff at all. So it's kind of messing up the stitching and warping a little bit, but most of the time I'm able to cover it or at least slide some of the fluff back to fix it, but I feel like I shouldn't have to do that if it's spun correctly to begin with. And then the third guy we made, oh excuse me, this guy, this is the pattern Sushi Keychain by Ilana one? I don't know how to say it. I'll put it down here though, I don't want to butcher it. But she has a lot of really cute designs that I think I'm going to look into a bit more. So yeah, we made that guy. And then the final one for today is a little mini Totoro. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think I did something wrong, like on the stitching or something. I'm not really 100% sure though on what I did wrong. I think the biggest thing I did wrong is I made these ear bits too long, and also in the pattern the arms aren't like directly across from each other. Like there's an extra stitch on one side. I think it's this side. Yes. There's an extra stitch on this side versus this side, causing this arm to be slightly farther back. Okay. So this guy is I didn't end up doing the little lines either. Again, I'm not a big fan of this. So it's just gonna go to my husband and go on his bookshelf. But this is the Chew Totoro by Danny Magpie. This is the free pattern she has on her Instagram. All of these are Instagram patterns. But this is the free version she has on Instagram. She also has one you can buy on Etsy or Ko-fi, which includes a Totoro modification version as well as a Chibi Totoro pattern. So I might look into that. I'm not the biggest fan of patterns that require me to sew evenly across from each other, because that's when you get this wonkiness, where this one's up slightly higher, this one's slightly lower, this one's slightly farther back, and this one's slightly forward. So that's really the problem with it. But I got through those three guys tonight. I think that currently brings our total up to 8 if I include the Stegosaurus that I sold Sunday night. But yeah, so we have the two Brontosauruses, I still don't know what to say that. But we got those two. We made 2 Stegosaurus. I made the bat as well, so that's 5. And then the 3 from today, that would make 8. That's already probably too many for 1 week. But it is only Tuesday, so we're gonna see how many more we can make. I think tomorrow I'm gonna look a bit more thoroughly into some of these patterns and the goals for the week. We made the Stegosaurus. I'm gonna make a squid for sure. And I think tomorrow I might start that top I was talking about, just because I want to start one and have something started for a like garment wearable item. Summertime's coming in soon. It's already starting to get warm here in California, and warm meaning like a solid 80 degrees. Have I talked about how much I hate the warmth here? I can't stand it. But yeah, so I really want to get at least started on that, or start the mapping by the end of the week. But yeah, I also want to make a triceratops tomorrow. I think that's another big goal. But that is it for today. I'm really hoping work will not be too busy tomorrow. I only have, I think, 3 things I need to do, and they take like an hour to do all 3 of them. And then I just have to work on some of our handouts and update them. Other than that, though, I should be able to get out of work by 2 or 2:30, which is my main goal, because that'll give me enough time to relax a little bit after, get started on some crocheting, and then probably play some Stardew Valley with my husband. Hey guys, so today I worked on more stuffed animals, or more plushies. I don't know why I've gone down this rabbit hole and I can't get back out of it. But we started the day, or the night I guess I should say, with playing Stardew Valley with my husband, because it's my favorite thing right now. But I ended up making a squid using the pattern Squid Keychain by Jelly Crafts, but jelly spelled Jellie. So I made him. He's not too big, but I think he would pair nicely with like if I made a bunch of the octopi that I made a couple weeks ago. If I make a bunch of those and a bunch of him, a bunch of these like squids, I think they'll look really nice together, and they'll sell well together if I were to do a market with them. The second item I made today is a dinosaur. Come on, here we go. It's honestly not my favorite. There's a couple issues in the writing of the pattern, where the stitches aren't commented correctly or aren't noted correctly, so you kind of have to figure out what they're talking about. But this is the tiny dino by Crafting in Glory. It's not a bad pattern or anything. It's just there are parts that don't make any sense. Like at one point it says to end a row with 28 stitches, but you're only doing 1 increase and you're starting at 24 stitches. So technically it doesn't make sense, but if you look further into it, it's talking about like you're including in your count for 28 the stitches of the tail, which makes a bit more sense if you look at the pattern. Or like this back ridge here, I did completely differently than how the pattern recommended I do it, because the way they want to do it didn't make a lot of sense. In the writing of it didn't make a lot of sense, anything like that. And you can also see a seam right here at this corner, because what they had us do is essentially just seam across the top and then do the next stitches. You can't see it as well on this side, but I know it's there and I know it's visible on one side, so I'm not a big fan of it. But I did find a dinosaur pattern that has, I think, 4 different dinosaurs in it. And it's on Instagram as well, so I think I'm gonna try that one tomorrow maybe. And then finally today, the third plushie I made was this mushroom. He's really cute. He doesn't stand on his own, but I'm thinking if I can stick some wire in him and create a wire ring, so when it goes in, the wire will sit in that ring and hold it up, / like keep it flat and centered. But this is the mushrooms pattern by Rachel Crochet, but there's no E at the end of crochet. The only thing I did slightly differently was, one, I used different yarn type. She used what looks to be like a weight 2 or 3, and then I used the plushie yarn, the like Chanel Home Slim. I ended up using that for it, and it still turned out pretty nice. I also did the like little spots differently as well, They used the French knot, which is a cross-stitching, or excuse me, not cross-stitching, it's an embroidery term. But yeah, I just ended up taking some of the white yarn and going over random spots to kind of give the effect. But yeah, so those are the 3 plushie items I made today. I think that brings our total up to like 10 or 11 for this week. I think we ended at 7 or 8 yesterday. It's getting out of hand. But I do want to make those dinos, and I do want to make a couple more of these little squids, and see how my friends like them, see if they prefer the octopi versus the squids, or the squids versus the octopi, because they take relatively the same amount of time to complete and work on. But yeah. The final item I made today is technically a wearable item, and you can kind of see it here. But I took my first jab at a bucket hat. I personally am not a big fan of this style, but I know a lot of people like it for the summertime. So I still need to weave in one of the ends, but I think I made it also a little bit wrong. But yeah, here's what it looks like. This is the Lily Sugar and Cream Cotton, and it is the color Wooded Moss. So it's not like it's bad or anything. Again, I just personally don't like the way bucket hats look on me. But again, I know that a lot of people like them. I can see the appeal in them. I think but yeah, so here's a better look at it. I made this bucket hat. I actually kind of like it, like I said. Probably gonna see if anybody I know wants it, just because I don't really care for it. But yeah, so that's everything we made today. Tomorrow I'm kind of estimating work to be a medium-ish day. I only have one main thing I have to do, but it typically takes a couple hours. So factoring that in, plus working on some other stuff I've been given, I'll probably finish at my usual time. I just don't know if I'll really want to crochet after that. But yeah, talk to you again tomorrow. Okay, so tonight's gonna be now is going to be my only check-in for the night. Before I tell you how many more plushies we made, I think tomorrow my main focus is gonna be working on that top I mentioned a couple days ago, just because I feel like I'm getting a little burnt out from plushies, so I kind of want to take a break on them and work on something entirely different. But to begin with, I ended up making one octopi or octopus from the pattern I mentioned a couple weeks ago. I'll include it here, I just can't remember the name of it right now. But he's fairly small for the most part, like he's about the size of the palm of my hand, at least with this yarn and the hook I used. And then I also made another squid because I wanted to test the speed at which I could make them, as well as kind of like the appeal overall. This takes about half as long, but it's also like half the size, so that makes some sense. So I'm thinking if I do start doing markets anytime soon, I'll have both, maybe see which one does better, or let me know what you guys think, which one you would prefer, just in general. But I think I'd probably have a couple of both, see what does best, and then go from there. I also made the Hook Nooks little baby dino pattern. I think it's supposed to be a T-Rex. This pattern was really nice. The only thing I didn't really like about it is it wasn't super specific on where to start the ridge. I ended up originally starting it closer to back here where this ridge is, but there's supposed to be 4 in total. So by starting it here, I only had 3, and then it would have had a weird ridge on the bottom. So I had to redo it and start back up at the top. But yeah, so there's this guy. My husband tried to jack him already. Next, I have the No So Chubby Kitty, has a tail, by Naughty Nat. I really want to get rid of this yarn. I think I've mentioned this already once, but I really want to get rid of this yarn. I don't like it. I don't like how it shreds as you use it, essentially. But the easiest way to get rid of it is just to use it. But so I wanted a bigger project, and this guy definitely achieved that. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is this ear turned out perfect, while this one's somehow taller and like forward more on the bottom corner, which is a little frustrating. but it's fine. It's probably just gonna be one of the ones I keep or my husband keeps. I want to remake the pattern again and just try and see if I can fix the ear problem, because if I can, then I'd like it a lot more. So the second to last item I made is the heart snail by Little Bean Crochet 18. So it's got a little heart there, and it's got his little antennae. He's great. Honestly, I love him a lot. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is it doesn't stand on its own, but I'm thinking of putting like a bit of like coins or like something weighted here at the bottom so that when I do put it down, it is standing. The final item I ended up making tonight, and again, one of my favorites, just like the other one that's like it, is the Happy Onigiri by Becky's Plushies. He's fantastic. I love him so much. Again, if I had darker yarn, I would have used that instead of the green for the seaweed, but I think it kind of works. I don't know. I love him. I think if I use smaller yarn, like a weight 4 or weight 3, I can make a bunch of like tiny ones. I mean, realistically, they'll be like that big, but still, it'll be a bunch of like small ones. I can have them as little minions. But yeah, so that's all the plushies I made tonight. I believe that brings our total up to 16 or 17 for the week, which is a lot. And a big reason why I need to take a break. But I guess you guys will find out tomorrow if I do actually take a break on plushies or not. But yeah, I'll check in again tomorrow. Hey guys, it's Friday. I didn't do any plushie making like I mentioned yesterday because I've been working on this summer top thing that I kind of want to make. This is what it looks like so far. I'm actually frogging all the way back to these points, which is essentially here all the way down is going to be frogged back, which is really frustrating. But I'm just not liking the way the armholes are sitting. They're sitting at a really far point, and it's causing it to buckle where the sides meet and where the front and back panels meet. And it's just really irritating overall. I'm not liking the shape of it. I know with this cotton yarn that once I block it, it'll loosen the stitches a bit. But if it's already sitting as blocky as it is, I know it's going to continue to sit super blocky. So that's going to be a project for tomorrow me, or Sunday me, because I just don't have the energy for it anymore. I believe in total, including the Stegosaurus I sold on Sunday, like 16 or 17? I feel like it's a little excessive. I think I'm gonna take a break on plushies for a little bit until I can get these prepped and listed. But yeah, I'm probably gonna focus the rest of my night on just getting through frogging back all of that top I'm working on, and possibly starting it again, or just wallowing in my pain. One or the other. But yeah, I think next week one of my main goals is gonna be finishing that top because it works up pretty quickly. And then also working on the Cleary cardigan and or the Hexie cardigan, because those have just been sitting at my desk and I keep going, I'll look at them later, I'll deal with them later, I'll start them later, and later never comes. I think those are going to be the 2 focal points for next week, if I don't get distracted with something else. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys next week. See ya!